As women, as nurturers, as givers, how many of us here are guilty of settling for only good enough? Today, on Women's Day, I'm going to talk about why we women, whether we are homemakers, whether we are entrepreneurs, whether we are multitaskers, why is it important that we design the spaces that we live in that empower us, energize us, and truly embody the true essence that we hold? Hi, my name is Shreya and I'm the founder and principal designer at the Decor, where we truly believe that we must design your space to reflect the personality and therefore improve the output out there. So one of the hats that all we women don is that of a homemaker. Whether we are working women, whether we are entrepreneurs, a homemaker's hat will never be off our head. And therefore, it becomes very important that our home talks about our story. Our home is not just a place where we go and retire. It is a place where we nurture ourselves, where we rejuvenate. It's a creative lab. It's a place where we bond with our family. And therefore, there are a lot of things that we can do to ease that process and rejuvenate ourselves for those few hours that we spend at home. So usually when we're designing a house, a woman's opinion is usually considered for either the kitchen and her wardrobe. Everything else that follows becomes a byproduct with her being at the secondary. However, imagine a woman spends most of her time at home, especially the homemakers. Doesn't it become important that the sofa, the bed, the study table, the dining table, all of these spaces become a little more woman-centric so that when she devotes time to her family and family work, it's only love and nurture that she's putting in her efforts. Here, we can talk about a few examples. For example, when we are designing a sofa, the ergonomics of sofa is usually designed as per the tallest member of that house. As we all know, the average height of a woman is far shorter than the male counterpart. In such situations, we recommend that either we have movable cushions at the back or we keep a stool in front of the sofa. It helps the woman rest comfortably while watching TV or just taking a break through the day. Other option that we do is that of a table. Now, usually a man when he's working needs about 32 inches of height when we are working on a working desk. However, a comfortable height for a woman is about 30 inches. Now, for a young woman, a 32-inch may not really be that much of a problem. But imagine a woman who has osteoporosis or arthritis, or for that matter, even a frozen shoulder, where hand movement is of great difficulty. Here, we recommend that along with your regular table, you have a pull-out table at the height of 30 inches so that it becomes far more comfortable and conducive for your woman in the house to use. As such, we also do ask our women client what are their hobbies, what are the things that they enjoy, because rejuvenating is such an important part and therefore organizing their space for such rejuvenation also becomes equally important. So if you or your female counterpart is interested in any kind of hobby, whether it's painting, whether it's weaving, whether it's embroidery, photography, the world's a limit. But if we are able to design a space that reflects her personality and truly lets her enjoy that in space, believe me, you'll have a far more happier woman in house. As designers, while we are designing space, ergonomics, lights, colors, textures, everything plays a very important role. And it's very important to understand what's the general frame of mind of the woman in the house. That's when you can decide the color palette. A color palette can predominantly be neutral, but the accents in the house, if they are in sync with the lady in the house, you'll see a far more productivity happening in this space. For example, if your lady loves reading and you can just provide that little warm light in your bedroom for her to read, it nurtures her intellect and it nurtures her passion. Therefore, when you see her wake up the next day, you see a far more fulfilled lady in the day. Now, one of the ways where we try and bring in a lot of feminine energy and uplift a woman's spirit in the house is by using a lot of artworks and collectibles in the space. Usually, we have seen that women are very creative and they love shopping and collecting things from wherever they travel. Now, these things are not just things as we call them, they are memories. If we are able to smartly design these memories and put them in spaces and make use of the creative elements that the women in the house have designed and bring them in the forefront, it brings in a lot of characters to your house. It talks about your story, and in the hindsight, it also helps you build memories. 5 years down the line, when you see a certain souvenir or artwork on your wall, you would be remembering those times and you would probably be smiling together. So the general narrative of a workspace is that of a battlefield. A battlefield I would call is the Karambhumi. That the space where we spend an ample amount of our time or the major amount of our day in helps us nurture and bring out our productivity in space. There are few very basic things that we can do to let that ease out for the women. One, to make sure that the desks are big enough for any employee to be able to curate it, to personalize it. A person or a woman can choose to put pictures, manifestation words, ideas that inspire her and therefore keep her constantly focused in the work. Second, add a modesty panel when you're facing each other during work. It helps you maintain the privacy as well as increase productivity even in times of discomfort. Thirdly, women go through their monthly cycles that leads to a lot of bodily discomfort. So opting for an ergonomically correct chair would be a good idea to invest in for better productivity in women employees. Women are usually applauded for being multitaskers. But have we ever thought women may not be a multitasker always out of choice, some out of compulsion. And therefore, it becomes important that if we can build an ecosystem that eases out some of their responsibilities while we address the workplace, it also helps us increase our productivity and therefore the belongingness to the institute we are working for. A few tips that we can do to have such inclusivity in space are as follows. 1. It would be nice if we can have a catering system, a canteen system, or a tiffin system given to all our employees. It eases out the tension of cooking every morning and feeding our family or ourselves through the day. Second, if the space permits, it would be a nice idea to give a daycare center to your female. In fact, even for your men counters who are fresh parents. Having children at work eases out their tension back at home and helps them be more productive. Third, for women, again, if you have some space, please give out a breakout room or a resting room so that on days when the body really hurts, the woman can go and take a little nap. Such essential yet thoughtful amenities, if a company is ready to provide a woman, I'm sure the women employees would stick far longer, increasing the productivity and the performance in due course. A feminine energy is an energy of growth, of nurturing, of safety, of inspiration. And here are my top 5 tips how you can make your space a little more feminine yet far more productive. First, try and work with curvatures and softer edges in your spaces. Such space feel far more safer to interact with. Second, try and get in warmer colors or try layering through textures. Adding layers of textures, of multiple textures in your space adds a lot of warmth in a space and brings in a lot of vibrancy too. Third, open up the windows as much as you can and bring in as much sunlight as you can into the space. It helps you cleanse the space and uplifts the aura of that house or the space that you're residing in. Fourth, bring in a lot of plants into your space. Plants help you purify air. It also brings in a lot of vibrancy and a lot of life into a space. And fifth, adorn your space with a lot of artwork. And artwork can help you inspire, it can uplift your mood, it can calm you down. Depending on the need of the space, and artwork can do amazing tricks. So invest in a good artwork, and there you are. So finally, if you're designing a house, I request you all to please tell your designer what the woman of your house likes, what are her passions, what are her hobbies, so that the space becomes a wholesome space even for the females in the house. And if you are an employer, please approach your designer and ask them to inculcate these small tips and tricks into your space so that the female employees are far more productive and you would enjoy the space. And if you have any further questions on this topic, please drop in the comments and I'll be happy to